we're not back yet because we got clapped. That wasn't synced up. It was like on 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay. Did you recoil from your own clap?
Well, it echoes. It's loud.
That clap had me. Scared.
I don't understand because you don't get scared by loud noises. You find them exciting.
Yeah.
When I hear like if I'm doing dishes and I accidentally clang them together, I'm like, ugh.
But
I don't like it.
The only reason loud noises are scary is because you weren't anticipating them, not because they're just scary to be loud.
Sometimes when I'm doing something that I know will have to be loud, like vacuum or do dishes, I'll put like noise canceling headphones on and it makes the chores more bearable. Is that weird?
I don't know. Just don't like loud noise. I mean, dogs and cats don't like loud noises, right? Rabbits don't like loud noises. They're skittish.
They have 20% louder hearing.
Depending
on their ear size.
I don't think it's 20%. I think it's like well higher than 20%. Because you got to think their ears are like. Their ears are really big. Like they're big ass ears.
Especially if they're like a Flemish giant or something. Or capture sound.
Well, no, I think you're thinking of English lop.
Well, English lops, their ears are on the floor. I don't think that helps them hear much.
Well, I don't think that either.
You know when you're lying down and your ear is canceled because it's on the floor? It's like that.
What?
Like, it's basically like plugging your ears.
When I'm in bed, I can still hear.
If you put pressure on your ear, though, you can't hear as well out of it. Blah,
like,
blah, 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 blah.
Like that?
No, if you're like completely covering your ear, like imagine you're lying down like this.
Yeah.
Can't you not hear as well out of this ear?
No, I can still hear fine.
Well,
hold on.
Let
me try again.
Blah, 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 blah. La, 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 la. No? Can you hear any worse? You can't hear me. I think it's working. I think it's working, guys.
No, I could hear everything, actually. Did you think for a minute maybe I didn't actually hear anything?
Maybe. You did look confused.
Yeah, well, I was acting. He's acting.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if English lops. Here, let's Google it.
No, don't Google it. We're not starting the Googling yet. No.
You get to Google everything you want.
Yeah, because I Googled.
I have one question. Do English lops
hear better
than other rabbits?
They don't even, the audience doesn't know what an English.
No.
AI overview says
they don't hear better.
The most extreme ear size. It profoundly limits movement.
Oh.
Most lops have a bit of a decrease since they have a big flap over their ears. That's true because if their ears are imagine if your ear was like that.
Yeah, it covers
the ear. You think you hear better or worse?
Worse.
Yeah. You know who
not functional.
Airplane mode though.
Airplane seems the best ear.
You know who probably hears well? These guys.
That wild rabbit.
The wild rabbit because its ears are up.
Yeah, or like the hares, the big ears.
Yeah, I think you want your ears to be perked because I think if you have I think the floppy ears thing was because it's cute, not because it's effective for hearing.
That might be why rabbits have so many like
That might be why rabbits have so many. I think they have neurological issues because they have a fast metabolism.
What makes you think that?
Well, they run around and they eat a lot, so I assume they have a fast metabolism. No, not elephant.
Elephant spidmis.
Elephant spidmis do not run around and eat fast.
Mm-hmm.
No, I think they have neurological issues because they're small and they're frail and they live in the wild, and they eat like random crap all day long.
It makes me so sad when people have like hares and they're like having seizures.
Also,
they can't help it.
Also, I think that rabbits. I'm not a biologist, but I think that their immense genetic diversity also leads to a greater degree of negative mutation as well. That's what I'm sure that's probably a factor because they have a less stable like genome.
Yeah. Do you know like the situation of hares in Australia?
Because rabbits will just interbreed. Because well, not to interrupt, but human diversity, you're going out to multiple different groups. Rabbit diversity is within the same group. So even though you grab onto earlier variations of their genes, so you don't end up getting these fucked up crossbreeds. You also pick up their flaws too. So, but with humans, you tend to pick up the strengths when you intermarry, and intermarriage and racial mixing typically leads to like a more hardy. I think it's like a more hardy creature, because like people who are interbred are all fucked up and weak and frail. And you got to think, when have you ever heard about a mixed race person getting like a serious illness?
Never. Actually,
Never,
there is
never. I've never
science to
heard.
that.
There's science to mixed race people not getting sick.
In my anthropology course, they talk about like there's like science to opposites attracting because like say like I'm blonde, like I would naturally find like your genes like a greater genetic diversity, and so it would like increase my chances at survival. And so it would be like an evolutionary advantage for me to mate with someone who has like more
Well, I gotta let you
diverse
know
needs.
this that
That's not usually how human attraction
I
works,
gotta
but
let you know though that if you were attracted to me for the purpose of mating, I think
yeah,
that there
we
would
might run
be
into
a
a
sort of
roadblock.
evolutionary maybe failure there.
But you know what I mean.
Yeah. No. Well. Yeah.
Anyway, I want to tell you the sad apocalyptic state of hares in Australia. It's really sad.
Aren't
So
they invasive?
they're not a natural
Yeah.
species. They
Because
were
the
introduced for hunting sport in like the 1800s.
the natural like big prey animal is like marsupials.
Yeah, but ever since they released them, they've basically been invasive and they kind of ruining the environments. But it's not their fault. They're just doing what it's normal to a rabbit. And so
Trying to get rid of them.
The Australian government has introduced this like virus. It's like a T virus
They've
that's
introduced a evil virus.
it's very horrible and it makes the rabbits suffer like cruel and inhumane deaths. And so there's no like wildlife protection agencies or
Mm.
anything like that for hares in Australia. So that's why there's people like Mr. Bigglesworth mom who's
Why
like a
didn't they just
rabbit
introduce like
volunteer.
a rabbit bounty?
Well, they
That
kind of
seems like
do.
it'd be more humane.
It doesn't really work in Australia. It's too much outback.
Yeah, but it seems like it'd be more humane to just introduce a rabbit. Like to me, it seems more
Yeah.
humane to do a rabbit bounty.
Yeah, it's not very reliable or effective though. That's why they're trying to do the
Well,
virus.
it can be real. I mean, that's how they control wolf populations is by giving out like fucking. That's how they control deer population is with deer tag and deer bounties.
Yeah. So there's like volunteer groups in Australia
They just
that
go around killing rabbits.
well they don't kill them, but they try to rehome them or like
To where?
with them or like try to
Couldn't
make their
you?
lives
Maybe
more.
you could like introduce a rat. This is some intense science, and stop me if you've heard this one before. But maybe you could introduce like 100 rabbits, and you could make them all the sexiest rabbits ever. Well, hold on. You can make them all the sexiest.
Utopia.
Well, hold on. Okay, I would fuck Judy Hopps, but so you introduce about I don't know how many rabbits there are. Let's say there's 10 million rabbits in Australia, right? You introduce 100,000 of the sexiest rabbits ever. They got big ears. They're really strong. They're really fast.
Like domesticated rabbits?
No, like wild hares.
Okay.
So you release 100,000 of the sexiest rabbits ever, but they have a gene flaw.
Hmm.
When they reproduce, their babies are born sterile. Now, are you seeing the science?
I think that problem would resolve itself after like 5 years because hares don't live very long.
Yeah, but every rabbit would want to have. Okay, no, you're right. So there's 10. Let's say there's 10 million hares. What we need to do is we need to introduce 10 million of the sexiest rabbits ever that are sterile, and so they rabbits will try to have sex with the sterile rabbits, and then they'll all just die because they won't be able to have a baby. But then
I mean,
for a little while, for about a 5-year period, the rabbit population will double,
yeah.
and it'll be a lot. Like you'll have to invest a lot of money because they'll be clones.
Yeah.
So you'll have to invest a lot of money.
This seems pretty elaborate.
Oh, this is a better idea. What if you just clone 100,000 rabbits and then you release them, and then everybody interbreeds with these rabbits, and then their babies are all born with birth defects and they get eaten?
Hmm. I don't know. Either way, this seems unnecessarily cruel to
Okay,
hares.
well, how do we get rid of them?
You don't need to get rid of
We
them.
got to get rid of them because they're destroying the environment.
Not really.
They're probably causing desertification in the outback.
I mean, they certainly contribute.
Yeah, but that's something we got to stop. We got to stop that. And this is white people's fault. I'm sorry to say.
It is white people.
It is white people's fault, and now.
But now the hare is suffering unnecessarily because it was introduced to this hellscape.
It's gotta.
It's literally apocalyptic conditions living as a hare in Australia.
No,
Everyone
it's
is
not.
out to get you.
No, it's not.
There's viruses designed to kill you. That you live in like a desert where you're not native to.
Hares do live in savanna and desert.
Not in
They don't live in
Australia.
desert, but they do live in savanna.
Yeah.
Because a
In
rabbit.
volcano.
No, yeah, hares can and do and will survive in savanna and desert like conditions because they live in like Arizona and Alberta.
Yeah, and hares usually do pretty well in Australia, actually.
Yeah,
But
but I'm saying we got to get rid of them. I'm sorry.
I don't know. I think it's cruel what they're trying to do.
It's cruel, but I think the planet's health is more important than a species, which
Well,
is like I mean not unlike humans.
because they're in such like terrible conditions, a lot of them are like have seriously like deformed birth defects and stuff like that.
So won't they just go extinct on their own?
Well, that or there's people like Mr. Bigglesworth mom who will like adopt a hare so that it can live the rest of
Do
its
you
life
think we should
comfortably.
accelerate their extinction?
No,
So what should we do?
either accommodate or find a way to rehome them. I don't know.
How are you going to rehome 10 million billion rabbits?
I don't know.
There's an imbalance in nature. The imbalance needs to be rectified. And the imbalance was caused by humans, so humans are responsible to fix it.
If prairie dogs weren't natural to the prairies, would you advocate for gassing them all?
If the world was made of pudding, would you be hungry?
No.
It's the same question. Because this isn't a what if, this is a reality. You're playing in hypothetical land, but this is reality. The reality is they're causing an imbalance from what you've said. I'm going off what you said. I could be wrong, but the imbalance in nature, there's hares, there's an imbalance in nature, and they're trying to rectify it. But they got to kill all the hares, every single one.
It doesn't make it any less cruel.
We need to draw on court. Well, yeah, it's cruel, but it was cruel to do it in the first place.
It's like how there's lots of geese on campus. People are like, oh, because there's too many and we're here, we need to throw all the eggs at the wall.
Well, that's not what I think. That's what someone else thinks.
That's what Umsu thinks.
But that's not what I said. What I said is that it needs to be balanced. If there was, if the prairie dog population got completely out of control, but they also don't do this, so I don't need to worry. But if the prairie dog population got completely out of control and they were causing desertification in Manitoba, yeah, I would support the culling of them. But that's not what's happening with prairie dogs. Prairie dogs get eaten by other creatures.
The
If
solution.
the prairie dog population gets too high, do you know what happens?
What?
Hawks have a lot of really yummy meals.
Yeah.
That's what happens.
The solution might just be to add more predators to the population of us wherever there's too many hares.
You need more dingoes.
Yeah.
That's probably one of
dingoes
the more.
or birds.
That's probably one of the more moral ways to
Tasmanian
solve that
devils.
problem because then at least something's getting eaten. But then it's like, okay, well, I don't. We mess around with the nature way too much.
Can Tasmanian devils live in the outback?
I don't know. I don't know where they live. I think they like living in trees and stuff.
Because
They are really just Tasmanian devils are just big mean wombats.
Because Tasmania is more like tropical, I think, isn't it?
Tasmania, not Tanzania. I think Tanzania is in Africa.
Yeah, you're right.
Tasmanian devils.
It's different than mainland Australia.
I think Tasmanian devils do live in a more temperate environment, more tropical. Yeah.
So they probably wouldn't do well in Australia.
Are there parts of Australia that are straight up tropical?
Yeah.
Where?
Tasmania. It's
The
like
south.
yeah. The more south you go, the more
Yeah,
wet
the
it
more
is.
wet and the more temperate. That's true because you're
Mhm.
closer to the South Pole.
I think pretty much everywhere on the coast is pretty
What
lush.
is up with that? There's so much. Okay, look at the Earth, right?
Mhm.
Like, okay, if this is like the whole, imagine the whole camera. Like, look at the camera. Like, this is the Earth.
Okay.
This is half the Earth.
Mhm.
This half is hot. This is cold, right? But then
Like
this
North
is
America?
cold. How the fuck does that work?
Well, it's the poles. It's colder
How come the poles are so damn cold?
because the center of the Earth faces the sun more.
It kind of fucking is confusing to me. It's kind of confusing that the top half of the Earth. Okay, this is confusing, and you know it's confusing.
Mhm.
The top half is colder. The bottom half is warmer, right? We're agreeing on this so far.
Are you talking about the poles?
Hold on, just the top half of the Earth is colder. Just tell me if you agree or not.
The south and the
The
north are the same amount of cold.
No, man. The north half of the planet is more. Okay, from the equator to the North Pole
Mhm.
is colder than the equator to the South Pole. Agree or disagree?
I guess it's colder, but it's not just because that's a
But it's
natural way
crazy.
of the planet. It's because of the way continents and stuff work.
I know, but that's so crazy to me because the North and South Pole are both really cold. So like Africa and South America and Australia are all like pretty warm, right? And Europe and North America are all pretty cool, right? Like this is the science. But then the North and South Pole are both cold as shit.
Yeah,
Isn't that kind of weird?
it's a little weird. It makes more sense when you understand like how biomes and continents work and stuff.
Yeah,
It's
but
like the center of a continent is always colder than the coast.
not if you're on the equator.
No, it's always going to be warmer than the equator.
Yeah, but that's the crazy thing, though. That's what's confusing. I mean, it's a little bit confusing.
I always found it
So
weird
you're telling
looking.
me just by chance, South America and Australia and Africa are hotter by chance?
Yeah, kind of.
You're telling me by chance that those places happen to be hotter?
Yeah.
I guess.
It depends on like how high the elevation is, if you have rivers, if you have
You
like
know what? I guess that's true because I'm thinking about the continental United States and half of it is hotter and they're all in the same like latitude or
yeah.
whatever.
I always found it weird looking at a map and you look at the center and it's like the center of Africa is a desert, but the center of like the Americas is a jungle.
That's a good point because Manitoba is way colder than Alberta.
Yeah.
But Alberta and Manitoba are on the same level. Like if you go to
Well, excluding the mountains.
well, yeah, that's true. But there's like parts of Alberta that are sand dunes,
Mm-hmm.
right?
That's weird.
We don't have those.
Yeah, I guess
If
not.
you go to the, I feel like if you go to the north, if you go to the middle of Alberta, it's still relatively temperate. But if you go to the middle of Manitoba, you are literally in subarctic conditions.
Yeah.
Yeah. I might be stupid.
Especially if you're not near a river. Like a lot of those rural towns that don't have any water source get really cold in the winter.
I also know the name of this episode.
Critter chaos.
200 blunders.
How come?
You know why?
I don't.
Come on. You forgot about the 200 blunders?
Yeah.
This
I guess
hurts
so.
my heart. This actually hurts my heart. The fans are really watching my heart hurt in real time.
I'm sorry,
You
fans.
don't remember the 200 blunders I made yesterday?
Oh, yeah.
The 200
You
blunders.
didn't call them blunders.
200
You
errors.
said search up the "this is very bad" quote.
Did you look it up?
Yes.
What did it say?
This is very, very bad.
That's not how he says it. I think he looked up the wrong clip.
This is bad. This is very, very bad.
That's kind of how it felt. So I have a bit of a story time. So as the fans know, I got a job. And at this job,
All right.
I don't want to go too in detail because I don't want to get in trouble if my supervisor ever finds this. But so basically what my job is I take these tickets and then I upload the tickets to a website and then I print them out and I mail them out. So what are you looking for?
I'm just looking around.
What are you looking at?
Oh, I've heard this story, so I'm just looking around.
Okay. So I print off these tickets. I print out you're just
Look at that bird.
I print off these tickets, but during the process of mailing out the tickets, I probably mailed out close to 200. So 200 people in the city have gotten these letters. Now, while entering the ticket, there is a drop-down menu that says province. And when you open that drop-down menu, you are supposed to click, let's just say, let's say it says ticket. You're supposed to select ticket.
That's so dumb though, because why is ticket
Well, hold
under
on.
province?
Hold on. And anytime I entered one of these 200 tickets, I entered Manitoba because that's the province that we live in. And so for each of these 200 tickets, I was supposed to enter ticket. And every single ticket went out with me entering the ticket as penalty or as Manitoba. So every
What is
single
the Manitoba option for then?
it's because it's a parking system.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, but I can't go more in depth than that because it'll reveal too much. But it's a parking system. So we use a parking system for our thing. And so I sent out these 200 tickets, not realizing I made an error, and I got an email from. Are you just womp womp?
I'm sorry.
I got an email from one of my colleagues, I guess, and she's like, "Hey, we're getting a couple complaints. Can you go and change one or two of these notices?" I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And so I go and I look. I'm like, "No, that can't be right." And I look at my manual and I realize immediately. I'm like, "Oh my god! The past 2 weeks, every fucking ticket I entered has been wrong." And so I had to go up to the filing room and I had to edit it because every person who got one of these tickets, because it was labeled Manitoba, they can't pay their tickets online. So what I've basically forced every single person all 200 people who got these tickets are not able to pay their tickets online, and they have to either go in person or mail money in now. And so I had to go and change 200 different tickets.
So what does that? Do you have to just send out a new one and they can pay that online?
No, I have to change it online because it's the way that the thing is registered in the online system. Because when you pay online, you pay through the online portal. So if it's changed,
They'll have access to it.
yeah, if it's changed, they'll have access to it. But I can't change it, and they can't do a mass change because they can't change tickets by user. So I have to go in and re-enter all these information on these 200 tickets. That's the 200 blunders.
Yeah, that sucks.
The 200 blunders of one Bardo Lardo.
Everybody makes mistakes.
Bardo's
Everybody has those days.
Bardo's big. Should I call the episode 200 blunders or Bardo's big blunder?
Maybe a big blunder.
I think Bardo's big blunder is good.
Yeah, it's an alliteration.
I mean, it. I kind of thought my man. I thought. I mean, I think if my manager knew, they would be upset. But so far, my manager
Just
doesn't.
don't tell them.
So far, my manager doesn't know that this happened, and they're probably not going to find out if it gets fixed fast enough.
The best thing about having like management with little oversight is you can make fuck ups like this and they'll never have to know about it.
I know. Well, if I hadn't caught this, like if I hadn't realized I had done this 200 times, we would have been getting complaints, probably for the next like 2-3 weeks.
Yeah.
And they would have been like, "Hey, why are we getting so many complaints on these tickets?" And it would have come down on me, and they would have been like, "Oh, he hid this." Because I couldn't hide it. I had to just admit that I fucked up because it was going to keep happening.
I mean, it's a confusing like system, and maybe this will give them a push to be like, maybe we should like
Maybe we should
not
stop giving
have
out tickets.
ticket under province.
Well, but it's just the way the system works. It is the easy. I think
It's
it
not
is.
clear though.
Yeah, well, I think it, but that's the
It's not
consequence of
intuitive.
that's the consequence of using a system that's not made for this.
What is it made for?
I told you already.
I forgot.
It's made for parking.
Oh,
It's like parking and speeding and stuff. It's like those kind of violations.
Hmm.
So it's not made for what we're doing, um, which is part of why it's complicated and confusing.
a lot of public service, like infrastructure, like online stuff, is very outdated.
But I mean I understand like why they're using a non-designated system because it would be kind of ridiculous if you had to program a whole new platform for every department in the city. Ideally, you want to save resources and reuse assets. I get that
How come online stuff is so expensive?
because you got to host it, you got to pay someone to make it, then you got to train people to use it. Like you got to yeah. There's a lot of shit that goes into it.
Like besides HSC and St. Boniface, all the hospitals in Winnipeg are still like paper based.
Mm.
It's very like we're
Well,
trapped in
and
the
there's also
past.
the issue of then you have to backlog all the archives and upload all the archives because otherwise now you're training on two systems.
Can you read cursive well?
No.
Every like progress note at the hospital is written by nurses with like super chicken scratch cursive writing,
Mm.
and I can't read a word of it, and it makes my job very, very difficult.
I think that at my work they're expected to print, but sometimes they do cursive, but it's just addresses, so it's easy to understand. Because numbers in cursive aren't hard.
I tried telling my manager that, and it's
You're
like,
like,
I'm having a really hard time reading the progress notes. Is there any advice? She's like,
mm.
you just gotta learn
She's
it.
like, you just got to work harder.
She's like, if you're gonna work in hospital, you just need to learn cursive. It's like,
She's
well,
like,
I
you
know
just need to
cursive, I
work
just
harder.
can't read it. Am I too loud?
Yeah. That's okay though.
Yeah.
You just gotta be calm. You're getting too excited.
I was talking to one of the doctors, and he was like, yeah, sometimes
He's
I'll
like,
like,
yeah, I make a lot of money.
yeah. He's like, sometimes I'll purposefully like misspell words or like just put scribbles so that people don't ask me what it means. And it's like, why are you doing that?
But the pharmacist knows what it means. How does the pharmacist know?
I don't know.
I read that there's actually a like doctor cursive notation system.
Probably.
And that the pharmacists I've heard that it's more for pharmacists where pharmacists can tell when doctors write a prescription what like each weird swiggle means.
Well, I imagine at least in like Winnipeg, we have so few doctors that if you're getting prescriptions from the same one, you kind of know what it looks like.
It's like a crazy pharmacist notation system.
It probably has to do with like chemistry stuff too.
No, I think it's like science. It's not chemistry, it's science.
Okay.
You don't need to know chemistry to be a pharmacist.
That's not true.
You don't really need to know. Not really.
My dad was lucky
Pills
because
aren't chemistry.
it's true. It's
They're
something
alchemy.
else. We haven't figured it
It's
out yet.
alchemy. It's alchemy. It's
My
alchemical.
my dad was lucky because he was able to become a pharmacist before they like redid the education you need for it.
So he's lucky because he doesn't have to know what he's doing.
Well, he still knows,
Oh,
but he only had to do a 4-year degree for it.
okay.
Now you have to do like a Bachelor of Science plus another 4 years.
But you know
or
what?
something.
I do find that the younger pharmacists seem a little more capable. Like every time I talk to a younger pharmacist, it seems like they know a little bit more about what they're talking about. When I have an old pharmacist, they're like, "What do you get? What does your prescription say?" And I'm like, "It says I need escitalopram." They're like, "Okay." If I have a younger pharmacist, they're like, I'm like, "So I'm looking for I have escitalopram." They're like, "Escitalopram," and I go, "Yeah," and they're like, "Are you taking any other medicine?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm taking this," and they're like, "Ooh, you can't take that with that."
Hmm.
But like, if an older pharmacist, they just don't care. I mean,
Yeah.
that's my experience. I'm
Um,
just I'm just saying, for example, escitalopram is an antidepressant.
are you sure the person you're talking to is a pharmacist, not a farm tech?
This is just a situation. This is not real. This didn't
Hmm.
happen. This is pretend.
I see. Because a lot of the farm techs are younger and therefore more like
You're saying they're
friendly and
smarter.
outgoing.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's actually kind of fucked up. My dad works at a Walmart in Steinbach, and they don't have enough like people applying to be a farm tech there, so they hire like high school
You maybe
students.
shouldn't say exactly where your father works.
Who cares?
Well,
So yeah,
there's only one Walmart in Steinbach.
they hire like high school students to be pharmacy techs.
Yeah, that's okay.
And then it seriously helps their career by having experience as a farm tech. But like,
Yeah.
also your camera's already almost dead.
Yeah, that's a little bit of an issue. Hold on.
Can you not plug it in?
Let's. Oh.
Oh, upside down.
Hmm.
Did you not charge it before?
No, not really.
Gotta charge it, man.
Well, you know what? I'm sure it won't be an issue.
I'm sure it will.
I'm sure it
actually.
won't be an issue. I'm sure it
I
won't.
think we should plug it in.
Yeah, but we can't. That's not how the charging works because it charges it on a block, so it doesn't charge. I'm sure it'll last 20 more minutes. Chat room? Do we think it'll last 20 minutes?
I don't think it will.
I think chat room thinks it'll last 20 minutes.
I think we should end it.
No, man. No, man. It'll
End
last.
it
No, we're not.
5 minutes.
We're
maybe.
not ending it at 30 minutes. We're not doing this. The podcast is falling. We're falling rapidly. We can. It will.
But if we lose this, we're gonna lose all of it.
No, man. That's not even how it works.
Are
I
you
don't-
sure?
I could just end the recording, restart the recording, and go as long as it'll go.
Why don't we do that?
Yeah, that's good. We'll just continue recording, and it'll be a so. All right, it's gonna
We'll
be
be
dark
back.
for a second. So we just restarted the camera. And
And
let's
we're
do
back.
another clap sync, just so I can.
Let that sink in.
Well, I just have to because I'll have to resync the audio on the second clip. So welcome back. This is the second clip. It was dark for a second. I know
Part
that.
2.
I know that shit must have been. I know that shit was scary because I know when I'm in the dark, I get scared because I think a monster's gonna fucking get my ass.
I used to think there was a man in my light. My light in my room was like one of the lamps at the top of the room, and so it had like 3 dark little circles, and I thought they looked like eyes, and I thought the eyes were watching.
Bro was possessed by chaos.
I used to hide under my blankets because I thought I was being watched.
Bro was experiencing chaos. You thought there was a man in your light. You were scared of light.
I was scared of the man in my light.
Why would you think that?
I thought he was watching.
Why would you think that there's a man there?
He was mad at me because he had to always give me light
But why did you think there was a man in your light?
because it looked like eyes.
Like there was 2 light bulbs?
No, there was like 2 splotches in my like light bulb.
Yeah.
It looked like eyes.
When I was a kid, I used to think that that a giant celestial body was going to crash into the earth and destroy it.
Probably will.
Yeah, but I thought it was going to happen to me. When I was a kid, I thought the earth was going to get nuked and we'd all die.
Isn't there like in 5 years is like a 5% chance of like a big meteor? Like I thought
That's like a
destroying us.
0% chance if you do the math.
I saw that news like a couple months ago, and all the comments like, "Well, it would land in India, so it would solve our overpopulation problem."
Okay,
And
maybe
I
you
was
shouldn't
like,
say that on the podcast.
Yeah, but I was like, these people are psychopaths. I'm not agreeing with them.
Yeah, okay. You want to say that immediately because that's a very dangerous, and someone's going to clip that.
You.
Yeah,
gonna make a shirt out
I'm
of
gonna
it.
make a shirt of that saying if we
No,
crash in India.
do not. Maybe we should cut that out.
I'm gonna
Actually,
call it Dark Opinion. It'll be called Tula's Dark Opinion.
fact but true.
Fact but true. Mean but true.
Hmm.
It'll be called Mean but True.
This is interesting because it says no sugar, but the bottom tastes distinctly sugary.
Yeah, because it's concentrate. So all because did you mix it well?
I think so. I scraped the bottom.
Well, the it's because the
My
mix
tongue
is
is pink.
yeah, but the mix is heavier than water, so it sinks to the bottom. That's why you have to stir it. That's like with coffee. If you have like coffee, you have to keep like kind of stirring it because the coffee concentrate will sometimes fall to the bottom.
For those that don't know, which is all of you, I'm drinking a cup of water, but
Oh yeah,
I found these little packages at my office that has Crush, like the brand Pop
Just go
brand
grab
Crush.
it. Just go. You can show them.
I found a strange little contraption.
Yeah, it's a few weeks expired, but that's okay. No,
They're like little mixing packets, zero sugar.
you can actually win.
What can I win?
We're not gonna scan this, so whoever wins, let's get that to focus. So if you're in the audience, you can scan this, and you might win.
There's no sugar, but there's definitely something. It tastes hard to. It tastes sugary.
Yeah, that would be probably aspartame.
Do you ever get scared from those people who are like, oh, you're drinking diet soda? You get cancer.
I don't get scared. I get annoyed. So this is the delicious packet he's drinking.
Someone took all of the orange and purple. There's only strawberry left.
Well, because everyone knows that Orange Crush is the yummiest one.
Cream soda,
Yeah, but there's no cream soda packet on this one.
which is a shame.
Do you remember Tang? Do you remember Tang packets?
Nope.
You don't remember Tang? You ever had Tang?
Is it pop?
No, it was like Tang was like a drink. It was like a citrus drink mix. Tang. And so you'd make like a jug of Tang, and they used to have like these pouches, almost like those ones, where you would just pour it into your water bottle, and it'd be like a little pouch of Tang.
Is that like the orange drink from McDonald's?
No, that was High C,
Mm.
which we still have actually.
Yeah.
This was Tang. It was like a citrus drink powder. It was like a powder mix.
Mm.
It's very similar to Kool-Aid, but it was orange.
I find
Um,
it funny that so many people just drank something called the orange drink and
It
didn't
was
know
High
what it was.
C. High C is what it was.
No one knew. They just called it orange drink.
Yeah, because it's just orange. But I remember.
Delicious orange.
Do you remember when we'd have like school assemblies? Not us, because. But do you remember when you'd have like a school assembly and there'd be like a big like keg like that, just filled with like High C, just filled with McDonald's orange drink?
Not in assemblies, but like Terry Fox Day. Yeah.
Yeah, there'd be like a big orange drink jug.
Yep.
That was just pop. You might as well have just had Coke.
Yep.
It was probably the same level of sugar.
They'd give us orange drink and those little like mini freezies.
But when we were younger, they honestly did think juice was. When we were kids, they honestly did think juice was good for you.
No juice is good for you.
I know, but don't you remember? Like people thought juice was good for you.
Yeah, it was like in the counter food guide.
Yeah, people like when I remember when I was a kid, there was an understanding that juice was good for you
And milk. I love their
and
milk.
milk. Yeah, I don't think people think. I think people think milk's fine.
The guy who planned out the Canada Food Guide was like a eugenicist.
Oh, yeah, they're always eugenicists. The American Food Guide was the food pyramid.
Yeah.
But they thought juice was good for
That's
you.
why they made indigenous kids drink so much milk.
Don't make them sick.
Yeah.
They didn't have cows.
Nope.
Indigenous people didn't drink milk prior to colonization, so
Well, that's why
their
they thought-
bodies wouldn't have been ready for it.
That's why they thought they were like sickly. Like it's not
Well,
because poverty.
it's like,
It's
bruh.
because they were not drinking cow milk.
So you're lactose intolerant.
They have to drink slop every day.
Well, there was a million reasons why white people thought a million different things about Native people. And milk drinkers.
Part of the Canada Food Guide was actually in response
Milk
to
drinker.
the residential school like
Yeah.
food. Like it
They're
was
like,
trying to
we're giving
set
them
a
way
standard.
too much milk.
Well, no, they were trying to say they need more milk.
They need more milk.
They need less brown
They
slop.
did
and
say
more
that.
milk.
They're like, you need 4 servings of dairy a day. That's crazy.
Yeah, there was a lot of emphasis on dairy.
But it's interesting because
People say that the dairy lobby kind of like influenced it.
Big time. Because you can live completely fine with you can have no dairy your entire life and be fine.
That's why there is not many
You should have-
vegetables.
you
'Cause
should have
there's no
calcium.
vegetable lobby really.
Yeah. Because you should be having, like, if you ate 50%, like, if you ate 30% meat and 70% vegetables, you'd probably be pretty healthy.
Yeah.
I don't know the science, but I'm sure. Because indigenous people on the coast, they would just eat fish and berries. And they
It's
were,
probably the best diet
and
you can have.
they had a lot of, well, unless you want to be bulky, then you got to eat a lot of meat and nuts.
Yeah.
It depends.
The prairie men had it figured out.
The prairie men were eating a lot of fucking meat. Like they were eating deer and bison. They
There
eat a
were
lot of meat.
probably a lot of constipated people.
No, man, because you're eating like jam.
I don't
Because you've eaten choke cherries. Choke cherries probably make you poop.
Cherry.
Listen, I don't know.
What
We've
kind
lost
of-
so much knowledge.
What kind of grain or like fiber is there in the prairie? Like naturally.
I mean, I can't really. I mean, canola. I don't know. I don't fucking know.
I guess a lot of them traded with like
They would have
people
traded.
farm like
Yeah, they
corn.
would have traded with like They would have had like trade routes with the Mi'kmaq, so they would have been getting like beans,
Beans and corn. Yeah.
beans and corn. Yeah, beans and corn will make you poop.
Yep. That's true.
So beans and
Squash.
yeah, beans, corn, squash. And I mean berries do make tea. Tea makes you poop.
Yeah.
So tea, natural teas. But they also weren't eating like processed foods, and processed foods jam you up.
Yeah, like eating like lean bison is probably a lot better for your
Yeah.
digestive system than
When
like
they were-
ground beef.
They were also eating. They were willing to eat fat too. So like
Yeah.
that'll lube your pooper up. The fat, I think.
Mm.
I don't know.
No,
Because you need
fat kind of
fats,
does the opposite.
but you need fats in your diet.
Yeah, and I think natural fats are good, but like trans fats really clog you up.
Yeah, but they weren't eating trans fats. They didn't have any.
Well, I don't know if it's the same with natural.
They didn't have any trans. They literally had no trans fats.
Yeah, no, the coastal diets are really good for you, especially on the west. Lots of fish, but everyone thought they were ill.
Eating
Everyone thought they were too
eating
skinny.
trans fats, I would never do that to them. I don't fucking
Good joke.
I don't
man.
fucking know.
Good one.
You could see the twinkle in my eye.
I'm
I thought
sure
I had
someone will
something.
chuckle at that.
Did you see the twinkle in my eye before I said that?
I did.
I thought it was going to be really
I
funny.
thought it was a low-bearing fruit. I didn't think you'd go for it, but you did.
Whether you're cis or trans, there's nothing wrong with being fat.
They thought people on the coast were like
Emaciated, yeah. They thought they were malnourished. I think trans people who are fat, trans people who are skinny, trans people who are normal, I think you're all wonderful, even if you're ugly.
especially the normal ones.
And some of you are ugly, just like cis people. Some of you are ugly, but most of you are probably good looking, and the cis people too.
Straight up.
Maybe less cis people than trans people, but definitely a lot of you are beautiful. There are a few ugly people out there. If you're ugly and you're watching, I still love you.
A lot
You're
of
just gross.
a lot of trans models are very, very attractive.
Well, a lot of models are very, very attractive.
yeah, but I find trans models specifically are like
It's because you're a chaser.
like Alex Kasani.
No,
She's probably the most beautiful woman I've ever seen.
I don't know Alex. Who is this?
She's
Alex
one of Charlie
Kasani.
XCX's friends, but she's like a model.
Alex Kasani.
She's kind of like your standard like blonde, skinny girl, but she's very pretty.
She looks kind of scary. This is a scary person.
That's a scary picture.
That's a scary ass picture. We're gonna put this picture in the corner.
Put it on the thumbnail.
We're gonna put this picture in the corner of the thumbnail.
Okay.
And
That is
so
an odd picture.
that is a scary picture.
I think it's a wig.
Most of these pictures are very normal.
I think that's a wig. That can't be her natural
Most
hair.
of these pictures are very normal. I find a lot of trans women models are very lithe. They're very like
What does that
lithe.
mean?
You just gotta look it up.
Okay.
Just gotta look at it. They're very lithe. Let me make sure that this isn't a disrespectful thing for me to say.
Like Lithe.
Lithe. They're very lithe. Lithe. Supple and graceful.
Oh.
They remind me of a fairy.
Yeah.
You know?
I guess.
Yeah. Very supple.
I don't like these words.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of lithe people out. A lot of models in general are lithe. A lot of models are very thin. A lot of them
Well, yeah, like the standard of feminine beauty is to be like
just be thin.
thin and graceful.
I've seen a lot of beautiful women who aren't lithe.
Yeah.
We
We don't have any questions today, do we?
Adele.
Lizzo.
Well, Pink Pantheress isn't lithe.
No.
But she's beautiful.
I love Pink Panthers so much.
I love the Pink Panther. I like the Pink Panther.
It's good study music.
Did you like the Pink Panther cartoon?
Yeah,
When you saw the Pink Panther movie,
I didn't watch the movie.
were you fucking pissed off?
I didn't watch the movie.
Did you see the trailer?
No.
My mom rented Pink Panther. She's like, we're gonna watch Pink Panther. And I'm like, oh,
Ba-dum,
like the
ba-dum.
cartoon. I see this fucking movie. There's no fucking cartoon. It's fucking live action, and there's some old fucker.
That's kind of how I felt when I watched like Who Framed Roger Rabbit. It's like I thought this was a
Oh, I
cartoon,
thought this was a cartoon. It is a cartoon.
but you got to look up Miss Roger Rabbit's dress, so
Jessica
it's
Rabbit.
all good.
You don't look up her dress.
They animate her big yada.
They don't animate her yada. That's not real. That's a
They
myth.
do.
That's an urban legend. You can't see her pussy. Trust me.
But they do that a lot. They like
I promise you.
advertise it.
I promise you. You can't see Jessica Rabbit's pussy
In all those like
in all the
fusion movies. They always show the animated part
mixed
more.
media.
Yeah,
They always show the animated
Like,
part more.
the Lizzie McGuire movie. They
What are you
in
talking
the
about?
trailer they show.
Oh yeah,
the
because the
cartoon.
animation's cooler.
Yeah, and then half the movie is like boring ass people.
Not Cool World.
Not what I came for.
Not Cool World.
No.
Cool. You know what Cool World is? It's this
I've
it's
heard
this
of it.
movie where this like cartoon girl comes to life and then like fucks this guy.
I feel like you would have liked Lizzie McGuire.
Yeah.
What the hell is this?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Seems like something your dad would watch.
My dad got mad at me because he was looking at Facebook Reels and there was like a bunch of thirst posts and I'm like, why are you looking at porn? He like tries to swipe away and then there's more and he's like keeps swiping and I'm like, dude, you're looking at porn. He's like, shut up. I'm not looking at fucking porn.
Say you do too.
I don't do that. I own it. If I'm looking at thirst traps, I own it. And I honor it. I say yes. I am looking at this. There's one thing worse than a trickster, and that's a lying trickster.
What was that show on Family Channel?
Actually, tricksters are honorable
It was
and
like
venerated.
a mixed media show where there was like a guy who it was like a cartoon guy. It was just like do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
What was that show?
a cartoon guy.
Yeah.
Are you sure you're not thinking about Fred's Head?
No, it was like live action, but it had like one guy who was cartoon, and it was always it stood out, and it was very weird looking. It's not Fred's Head.
No, that's the different one. I'm thinking about Ed's Head.
Fred's Head. I don't think that's a show.
Show where guy was followed around by cartoons.
Search mixed media cartoon.
Yeah, that's a good point. Just mixed media cartoon. You might be thinking of Crash and Bernstein.
Not that many.
You might be thinking about Crash and Bernstein. You remember Crash and Bernstein? It was like a little fat boy with a Muppet.
Not really. Maybe search up Disney Channel.
Is this it?
No, I don't know what the hell that
I think
is.
that's it.
Put that in the
I
thumbnail.
think that's it. That's got to
Can
go
you
in the
put that
thumbnail.
Yeah.
That's got to go in the thumb. Who's the lady you mentioned before?
Lizzie McGuire.
No, man, the model. Oh, is the battery dead? Battery die?
I think so.
Well, the battery has died. So why don't we just do the last 8 minutes in pure darkness?
Okay.
Let's do the last 8 minutes in pure darkness. I mean, I think this speaks to
Our planning.
yeah, and sort of the quality of the
show you're tuning in each
the
week
quality of the show you're tuning in every single week for.
Yeah.
But I don't want to do another short episode,
We have no questions.
and we have no questions, and I don't want to do a short episode. So we're gonna record to 53 minutes. We're gonna record another 10 minutes in the darkness, and I honestly feel a little less scared now.
Yeah.
Do you feel less scared?
A little bit. There's less pressure.
Yeah. So we gotta. Oh man, I really hope that last 10 minutes actually recorded, because half the episode might be in pure darkness. Mixed media. I don't think this was a Disney cartoon. Oh.
Disney sucks.
Okay, so what was this model's name again?
I don't know.
What the hell was her name? Cassine
Alex
Delavine?
Kazan.
Alex Cassani.
That's just Alex.
That's just some guy.
That's Alex Minecraft.
No, that wasn't Alex Minecraft. I've been seeing a lot of Alex Minecraft where
Well, they teased her.
where she's got like crazy breasts.
Yeah. It's kind of the whole appeal.
That's sort of the whole appeal of Alex when you play the game. I mean, whoa,
That's why I play.
that's not I mean, I'm just looking at pictures of Alex
Do you remember
right now.
when people like Dan
Oh,
TDM Minecart would do like mod reviews of like breasts?
I don't think the Diamond Minecart ever did porn reviews.
Seems like something
I
I'd
don't think
watch.
I don't think he ever made that. That one's tasteful.
That is tasteful. That's not tasteful. That's not tasteful.
That is crazy. I mean, we're just
Why do
looking
they
at.
always make her breasts like circles? It's like
Because she's a Minecrafter.
supposed to be square.
That's actually tasteful.
No, it's not.
Look, what about this?
Anime boobs up against each other.
That's not what I looked up.
Ew. We're not allowed to look at this.
Yeah, it's not. Well, we're not recording anymore. So we're not filming it. So that's the fun. That's kind of what my life was like growing up.
No.
That's kind of what life was. But I mean, there's some truth to it. Where that's kind of what life was like back then.
Sure.
Because you saw the people in that image were nude, and so once upon a time, yeah, there were no clothes.
Was it Henry Danger that had the cartoon man?
The fuck? No, Henry Danger was a superhero.
It was something like that, though.
Yeah, maybe, but Henry Danger was completely separate from that.
Can I search?
Yeah, but you got to talk while searching because they want to hear what you're saying.
Okay. So I'm searching like Disney shows of 2010.
Yeah, 2010. This might be the worst. We might have to make a. I think we're gonna have to actually.
Stop, I'm trying to do it.
Okay, but you need to focus on the show. Look, it was probably theme song takeover.
No.
It's probably the 7 Dimension.
Beverly Hills Chihuahua.
Are you sure it wasn't Beverly Hills Chihuahua?
It might have been.
Disney Channel shows. Are you sure it was Disney Channel?
Yes, positive.
Dog with a blog. It was probably Dog with a Blog,
Fuck
actually.
that show.
Okay, why don't you just scroll and then see if you recognize anything? But just no. Okay, you gotta be a little slower.
Going.
Maybe just hold.
Everything is just sensitive.
Just hold. No, it's not sensitive. Just tap this. Just tap this button. So, yeah, I mean, once upon a time, there literally were no clothes.
Good old days. I remember those.
That was scary. It must have been a scary time to be walking around naked. You imagine you're like an early Homo sapien, and you have like just a loincloth. Like what the fuck? Like that is so what? Like you have no protection. A bug can crawl in your thing.
Your thing?
Yes, a bug can crawl in your thing. That would be frightening to me. That would be frightening to me, anyways. But I mean, yeah, I don't know. It's a crazy world we live in. It is a crazy world we live in. So it was probably Doc McStuffins, I'm thinking.
They only have
You
40
said-
shows on here.
You said you were gonna keep talking while you looked. You gotta try to focus.
I don't know. I give up.
You're getting way too distracted by this stupid show.
I can't find it. I give up.
Stugo?
Nope.
Oh.
We got
Big
to
City Greens?
finish the episodes here. I gotta pee.
Yeah. The problem is you're not talking, so we can't end it until because we have a word count.
Do we?
Yeah, you've been quiet. Talk about this little show.
Time to put a bunch of words in.
Well, we only got like 3 minutes. No, we're not doing B
Should not be
movie.
able to fly.
That
Bee,
would-
however,
That
says fuck you.
the B movie thing was so unfunny.
Remember when people would wear shirts of the B movie script?
People who did that.
People in my drama class.
People in your drama class were so lame.
It was funny.
They should have gotten punished.
I did punish them.
Ooh, how?
I made fun of them. I said, "This guy's got a B movie shirt."
And then went up. I actually saw a guy eating beans on the bus.
And that's on the theater.
No, I saw a guy eating beans on the bus.
This guy's eating beans.
I'm serious. I saw a guy eating beans out of a can on the bus. He was just eating.
Did you say this guy's eating beans?
No, he was drinking the beans out of the can.
That's disgusting. You should have punished him.
Well, he was homeless, I think.
Well, I guess he's being punished then.
Yeah. I mean, like, punishment sort of makes the world go round, right?
Yeah. Or the world kind of revolves around it, if you think about it.
Do you think when God made man, the first thing he did
Thought
was
it
think
was
about
punishment?
punishment? Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, you're God and you just saw Eve. You saw. So, okay, so you got to think about this. So, God put Adam and Eve in the garden. He put a fucking apple there.
Yeah, that was the
Why'd you
temptation.
do that?
Yeah.
Just test him? I'll just
Because
test
he
him.
knew that he'd fuck up. Because he
I
has
know,
free will. So that
but
he'd
when
punish him.
if I know someone's gonna fuck up, I remove the temptations because I don't want to deal with the problem.
Yeah. That's good planning.
But I guess God knows everything, right? So he probably saw the long
God's not a
term.
good parent.
Well, he.
That's like putting candy in front of your kid and getting mad at the kid for eating candy.
Well, also he's so unknowable.
He sounds like a dick.
No, but okay, well, don't say that. But he's also unknowable, right? So he like knows things that we don't. So there could be a reason for that we just don't know yet. Also, it could have been that we invented that and that never happened.
You're telling me God put 2 chihuahuas on the ark?
Chihuahuas didn't exist back then. It would have been like a wild dog.
You're telling me they put 2 broccoli hair guys on the ark? Why do I see them?
You're telling me there was 2 broccoli hairs? You're telling me there was two white broccoli hairs that impregnated each other on the bus?
You
I mean
tell
the
me
Ark.
there was two wasps on
You're
the
telling me there was two white Anglo-Saxon Protestants that got each other pregnant on the bus? I mean the Ark.
yeah on the bus. They went the Great Flood of the bus.
The Great
The
Bus Flood.
47.
The levee broke and all people could survive on
The
the
gray bus saved
the gray,
humanity.
the gray bus. Why the gray?
I don't know. The groundhog bus.
I honestly think that if the 47 did have a color, it would either be the indigo, and we've discussed this at length, or it would be the fucking black.
Black bus.
It would be the black bus,
Like a
and not
47 soul. Are you
yeah,
happy that the 47 is being retired?
like not black as in like the person of African descent bus. Black as in like the soulless, no heart, no color. Because black people in reality are brown, right?
How much longer are we going? I really need to be.
Well, yeah, but you can't be saying that because people are gonna make edits out of that now.
I'm
Stop! Don't moan to the mic.
not moaning.
You are okay.
Just tell me how longer.
We can probably wrap it up now.
Okay, thank you.
Probably
Goodbye,
somewhere.
everyone. Bye bye.